National Park today. I'm about to start climbing on the practice cliffs here. This looks like a really nice chimney that I'm about to get on. I'm going to do some top rope solo here today. This is my first trip now after getting the van, so I'm super excited to be out here on the road and in Zion National Park. I wasn't sure what I was going to find up here in the way of anchors. I didn't bring any trade gear with me. This is my first trip out in the van, so I've only got minimal stuff. I'm just in the process of transferring things from our house to the van. I was hoping that I might be able to find a tree or some bolted anchors, and luckily found some bolted anchors up here at the top. I'm rappelling down this chimney. It looks like it's a split the whole way up. Okay, I'm going to do another climb now, just rappelling down. This one's going to be a nice hand crack. It's called Casual Sex on the practice wall. The sandstone here is really soft, which I guess is one of the reasons why all these canyons are formed here in Zion, with all the rock eroding away over the millions of years. You can see here where people have been running their ropes over the rock, and it's left these deep grooves. And also, if you scratch at the rock, you can see it even leaves a mark there. I'm going to climb this really good looking crack behind me. Crack climbing is something that I didn't do a lot of when I was growing up, and my dad was teaching me to climb in the Blue Mountains just outside of Sydney in Australia, because there's not a lot of great cracks in that area. But now that I moved to the States, there's a bunch of really awesome cracks. So I've been climbing them a bit, and I want to get better at crack climbing because some of my big objectives involve a fair bit of crack climbing. So it's time for some more practice. When I crack climb, I really like using gloves. I've tested out a whole bunch of different gloves over the years, and I've come to really appreciate the oaken crack gloves. I've liked these ones so much that I ended up wearing one pair out. They're durable, but just the amount of climbing that I did with them. And this glove here, the little buckle here where you feed the strap through, has broken. So I had to use tape to tape that glove on. Some people might think it's funny that I'm using tape to tape up my gloves when a lot of people just use tape to make a tape glove. I've tried that as well, but I prefer the actual gloves. They're easy to put on and off. Say if you're just doing one pitch or one climb that's a crack, you don't have to tape them up and then cut them to get them off. You can just strap them on and off, so they're really good. I highly recommend these Okens. I'll put a link down in the description below if you guys want to get some for yourself and try them out. Well, that 5.9 flake route was really nice. I found that the whole second half of it, there were really good hands just behind the flake, and it was perfect size to just wrap your hand around and dig it in deep. There were hands every place that you needed it to, and it was quite off vertical. It was a bit slabby, so great spots for the feet. You could just kind of walk it up. One of the things that I'm noticing about the rock here is it's really soft, this sandstone, and say if you like rub your foot against it, it peels off some of the sand. And if you have a look inside my gree, you can see how it's got a lot of dust in there. I mean, there was a bit of grime in there to start with, but now it's really dusty. It's going to be feeling a bit like sandpaper as the rope moves over this active part here. So I guess I'm going to have to clean my gear more frequently now, which is kind of never to start with, so I might have to do some more gear cleaning. Okay, I've done a couple of climbs here that had bolts on the top for an anchor. Now I want to do this. It's a 510. It's not listed on Mountain Project, but it is in the guidebook, and it doesn't have a bolt on the top. It's a nice open book hand crack, and I'm going to set up an anchor up the top here so I can top rope solo it. There's no bolt, so I've set up an anchor off 2 trees. I wanted to use 2 trees because both of them are fairly small, and it's in sloping terrain and it's in soft terrain. You can see how sandy it is here. So I've got up the top here, one is connected. I've just tied a re-threaded figure 8 over there, and that comes down to my master point here, and then it comes back up, and then I put a sling around this tree with a locking carabiner, and then a figure 8 on the bite over here. Now to equalize this, I've got figure 8 here on the bite between the 2 anchor points, and then I want to use the same rope as my climbing rope. And so I don't want to just pull off one end, because then it's going to put all the weight onto one of the ropes. So I've got, this is coming out of this figure 8 here, and this is what I just call a cache loop, and this is just slack, and this comes down to a figure 8 on the bite. So when I put weight on the rope, everything is going to be in line. I've got my 2 anchor points which are evenly weighted. I've got my master point here connected to my locking carabiner, and then another figure 8 on the bight. And you can see here my case loop, this is slack, and this is just to essentially re-thread the direction that my rope is going to be going in. And then I'm going to be climbing on this rope here. And here's the best part about living in the van. When I finish climbing for the day, I don't have to hike back and set up a tent, pay for an expensive hotel. It's just a 5-minute walk down to the van and I'm home. Loving it. If you guys aren't familiar with the technique and the equipment that I use for top rope solo climbing, here's a link to the video on where I describe the technique and equipment. Down here is a link to a video that technique that every top rope solo climber should know before you get out there on the rock. So thanks guys, please like and subscribe. The next video that I'm going to put out is going to be of me rope solo lead climbing using a silent partner. So subscribe so you can catch that. And remember guys, I'm not putting these videos out as tutorials or a guide showing you techniques. I'm just a person out here having fun and bringing you along for my adventures. Okay guys, see you next time. Bye.